Hello everybody, today I am with my family and we are here on my birthday, well it was yesterday actually, and we are here in Sherwood Forest having a day out in nature just to immerse ourselves in the natural world and just see what we can find and feel today. It's a fantastic place, unbelievable, and the legend of Robin Hood is very clear. I'll explain that after. So Robin Hood here is described in many stories over the world, and he's described as a mostly fictional figure, but in reality he was likely a real figure that went against the authority and the government, living off the land and living in nature as humans should be doing, mastering arts such as the bow and arrow and archery, you know, and just living off the land, getting fruits from the forest, hunting and just having a connection with the land. This is what Robin Hood was really all about. He was a renegade, he was a lion, not a sheep, so he was following his own heart and the path of the heart. So this character here, the sheriff, is no different to the governments now. All to do with money. There's so much forest has been destroyed over the years. You know, humans thinking you know better than nature, cutting it down to build houses, and the Industrial Revolution, you know, just killed so much nature. Now we've got to try and get back to the natural ways. You know, this is the prophecy, this is what the prophecy is all about now, the eagle and the condor from the indigenous times, to get back to the natural ways. This is what we've lost over the years, is how to live off natural resources from the forest, and how to identify mushrooms from non-edible fungus, and how to hunt, how to gather like our ancestors did. Well, here in the forest today, I've been wanting to come to Sherwood Forest for a long time, you know, one of these ancient forests of Britain. I think there was obviously many more ancient forests originally, going back to where I live in the northwest. I feel there was an ancient forest around there. There's still so many ancient trees around where I live, not many left. They keep getting destruction every year, but here in this forest, this went back such a long time, and what's left of it is still magical. And the good thing about forests, as I always keep going on about, is it tells us the truth about life and the truth about who we are as humans, how to be self-sustainable. The forest just restores itself if left to its own accord, and the amount of animals and bacteria and the fungus network underneath the earth that the trees communicate in. The fungus network is their communication. They communicate through the vast fungus networks. It is a fact, scientifically backed. And it's only just coming really out, all of this information that the indigenous already had. So they're communicating constantly, the trees, all the time with each other. They know which are their natural offspring, and they feed energy from into the earth to the other trees that are just growing, just like a mother does to a child. This is all the wisdom, the innate ancient wisdom of the forest, and the ancient wisdom that we have in our bodies as well, as we are nature. We are native, we are all native. It's whether we acknowledge we are native or not. I was thinking here, there could possibly be an ancient tree within this gap. It doesn't look natural. If you can see over there, over here, and there's another one in the distance. Would these possibly be ancient trees? The really huge ones that have been cut down, that have been said that existed in the true old world. These huge oaks, which there are still one or two left in England. Would these have been huge trees? And let me know what you think. Even if these aren't to do with the original trees, there are still the original oak trees, the original Celtic trees being cut down and destroyed, that held that ancient wisdom. The ones that they actually did rituals around. The original temples of the earth were the trees, and the Celtic people of Britain understood it. So this is why it's been wiped out, this knowledge. but it still lives on in their offspring. All of these will one day be ancient trees if we protect what we now have. That is why it's so important. There's nothing we can do regarding trees being cut down, but we can protect what we've got left. Now they are everywhere underneath the ground, these perfect square holes in the ground, perfect to fit an ancient tree, a huge ancient tree. Now this is not natural to me. It doesn't have perfectly square border and that in a natural way. The land just doesn't go like that, and there's loads of them. The land is more or less all flat, apart from certain places where there's a huge, near enough perfect square about 3-4 foot down in the ground. Look how lush the forest is here, and you can actually see all of the ancient ferns, which are a good sign of an ancient forest. Wherever there's ferns, there could have previously been an ancient forest, or obviously a present one. They thrive off the nutrients in an ancient forest. There is so much nutrients constantly being pushed into the earth and spread around the area when so many ancient trees are present. When we get in touch with nature and when we get out in the forest, it has benefits for everything. First of all, our emotional health, our mental health, our physical health and our spiritual health. We begin to feel at ease because we are in our natural state. The modern society creates systems and a way of life that is not natural to us, and our bodies, they know that. Therefore we begin to feel disconnected and depressed because that is not our natural way of life. And I'm not saying to live completely in the forest, but to have a connection to the land, to live around nature and to get in it every day is vital. So everybody, this is the major oak, apparently the oldest oak tree in these woods. Now I beg to differ. Originally, you know, only a couple of 100 years ago, they cut down oaks bigger than this, which would have still been here now. You know, I reckon they were even twice the size of this one. Now the reason for this, you know, to eliminate the true old world, our true ancestral knowledge, the wisdom that the trees hold, the energy that they give off. I'll leave the odd one, but yeah, this is my opinion. So this is the emperor oak, the major oak. It says here that the roots of this oak tree stretch from here to the picnic tables at the other side. That proves how things need a strong root system to be able to grow. You know, as humans, we also need a strong root system to be grounded to the earth, to get our nutrients and from life and the spiritual sense as well. And this is what the trees are doing. They develop below the ground first, so then they can expand upwards. So to build the future generation that we want in a society that's connected to nature, we must firstly acknowledge what we've got left of the old ancient forests, and then rebuild, to stop planting new trees, to stop cutting down any sort of ancient tree. I say any tree above 200 years old should be against the law to cut down. I'll say that. I think something should be put in to prevent anything like that happening, even if it's in someone's garden, overlooking a bit of light. You know, like people cut them down because they're blocking light and stuff like that. You know, get another house if you're going to cut down that tree. So yeah, stop cutting down trees, respect the earth. It's all about building the time we want in connection to nature, in alignment with nature, and let's start rebuilding the forests. Let's start protecting what we have, and that only comes when we have a connection to the land itself, because why would people want to protect the forest when they don't even have a connection to the land? So once we have a connection to the land, we understand that protection needs to be given, because it is us. Without the forest, we wouldn't even exist. So yeah, powerful message. The land is constantly speaking to us and giving us messages. It is a living being. Everything is connected. All the elements are connected. And if we tune into our heart space, into our instinct, which we've been lost over the years of subtle conditioning and the controllers pulling us off our imagination. Our imagination is the key to the universe and all of its secrets. But if we go back into that energy, we can begin to start listening to the earth and what it wants, and all of the guidance that it's giving us in our own journeys as humans, as a collective and as individuals. And it was the Celtic people that understood the relationship that we have to the trees more than anybody, and they made the Celtic tree Oham, all the symbolic language surrounding the identification of certain trees, the native trees of the British Isles. And yeah, we need to follow in their footsteps and get back to the connection that they had with the trees, the different energies they gave off, the medicinal qualities, and so on and so forth. They knew they were living beings, they knew they were the standing people. Look at this huge gap in this tree. What a good place of shelter if it rains. You know, this forest at Sherwood consists of mainly oak trees. I've just not seen many yew trees at all. Mainly birch, oaks as the primary tree here. And it's good to see so many oak trees. Well, thank you very much for watching today. It's been a fantastic day here at Sherwood Forest. I recommend anybody to this walk. You know, it's a simple walk, it's not difficult, just to get out in the woods here in the centre of England. And it's a fantastic place just to experience what ancient Britain would have been like in its day, with the ancient forests and woodlands, which would have been much more expansive and in different parts of the country. There's so much change due to farmland, excessive farmland and housing, towns, cities. Well, once we get back to the natural world, once we start understanding our connection as humanity, we will want to bring back this, and we will take the power back as humans when it comes to building the natural world. We won't let the governments and controllers of the world do it for us, because they will never do it. They will make sure it doesn't happen. As much as they claim during sustainability, all of that nonsense they go on about, that's all an agenda. You know, the real nature is inside of us and on the outside, and that is the people coming together to envision the world that we want and go about these steps every day to protect what we have and build on the future to make sure the next generations have what we envision.